Good evening. I'm Betsy White, the chairman of the Architectural Review Board, and welcome to the Town of Abington's Historic Preservation Review Board regular meeting. This is a citizen board appointed by the Town Council to interpret and uphold Abington's Historic Preservation Ordinance, which is Chapter 44, Section 2-4 of the Abington Zoning Ordinance that protects the historic district, which has been designated the Old and Historic District, along with all its contributing resources, which include buildings, structures, and sites from negative encroachment resulting from inappropriate construction, design, alterations, or demolitions. Our review process is guided by our own design reviewed guidelines, which are based on the United States Secretary of Interior's standards for rehabilitation. Our aim on this board is to provide a positive bridge between the design review process and property owners seeking to make changes, working together through the natural partnership that exists between us for mutual good. The result will be to ensure Abington's historic district continues as a valuable asset and one that makes Abington a good place to live, to work, and to visit. We appreciate your interest and we encourage public participation in our meeting. Your comments are important to our decision-making process. Anyone who addresses the board will please approach the podium, identify your first and last name, and give your complete mailing address. So once again, welcome to our meeting. Roll call.
Mr. Boyd?
Here.
Mrs. Pillion?
Here.
Mrs. Hartshorn?
Here.
Mrs. White?
Here.
And Mrs. Bunn?
Here.
All right, we have two meetings, the minutes of two meetings to approve. Our December 4th work session and the following regular meeting the same day, December the 4th regular meeting. Has everybody had time to review these minutes? Okay, do I have a motion to approve? Let's take them separately. To approve the work session?
I'll make that motion.
All right, Ms. Bunn makes the motion to approve the work session meeting minutes for December the 4th.
Second.
Second by Peyton Boyd. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Boyd?
Aye.
Mrs. Pillion?
Abstain, I wasn't here.
Mrs. Hartshorn?
Aye.
Mrs. White?
Aye.
And Mrs. Bunn?
Aye.
Secondly, we have the regular meeting that, on December the 4th and the minutes of that meeting, please. Do I have a motion to approve that? Let's see, do we have a quorum for that?
I don't think we do.
There would be three here, right?
Oh, there would be three,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think we do, okay. All right.
3 what?
Well, because Dwayne is no longer here and Betsy wasn't here, I had to run the meeting, so.
We have three. We have
have
three.
three.
We have a quorum.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion.
All right, Ms. Bunn again makes the motion to approve those minutes of the regular meeting on December the 4th.
Second.
Peyton Boyd will second that motion for the regular meeting on December the 4th. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Boyd?
Aye.
Mrs. Pillion?
Abstain.
Mrs. Hartshorn?
Aye.
Mrs. White?
I abstain since I wasn't at that meeting.
And Mrs. Bunn?
Aye.
All right. Well, we have one application for a certificate of appropriateness from Rick Humphreys, 107 Park Street in Abington, owner. Gabe, would you please read the staff report?
Sure. So we have Rick Humphreys, applicant/owner, have requested approval of a certificate of appropriateness to extend the existing ground-based MEP screening located on the west side of the main building to screen recently installed ground-based MEP equipment. The property is located at 107 Park Street and is within our Subdistrict 1. Background, according to Places and Time, Volume 1, written by Nancy King. The building was built in 1834 on a lot owned by George Winniford and is known as the Austin L. Bruno/Thomas Johnston House. George Winniford sold the property in 1835 to Austin L. Bruno, an Abington merchant, Later in 1856, the building and lot were sold to Hugh Johnston. His son, Thomas Johnston, was a well-known local portrait painter. Staff findings. The applicant proposes extending their existing ground-based MEP screening. The existing screening consists of wooden panels painted a cream color. The existing wooden panels have a flat back with an exterior that simulates a board and batten design where the horizontal strips alternate in depth. Each existing panel is supported on either side by a 5.5 inch by 5.5 inch wooden post painted a cream color, chamfered at the top. Each existing panel has a rectangular top rail, filleted at the top, painted a brown color with a rectangular bottom rail. The panel facing south is an access point to allow access into the enclosed ground-based MEP screened area. The proposed screening extension may involve an access panel facing west or north. And so here's just some pictures I have. You can see right here is the access panel that's currently there just to allow access into the enclosed space if maintenance is needed. Here's the new ground-based MEP equipment, or the generator that was installed. Here's the chamfered post. You can see at the top with the filleted rail, and again, just a better look at the access panel here. So overall, they're just looking to extend their existing screening to match it to make sure to cover the generator area. So if you have any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to answer them. If not, the applicant's here to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Humphries, would you join us?
I will. My name is Rick Humphries. My address is 107 Park Street Southeast, Abington, Virginia, 24210-3309. So get it all in there as opposed to work. I think I'm obligated. And this is a generator that we installed. This fulfills a promise that my wife made to me when we got married, and she asked me what I wanted for a wedding gift, and I told her I wanted a generator with power the entire house in case the power went out. At that time, it was a little more pricey, and so we were able to get one now. So that's what the equipment is. And then what we plan on trying to do is come off the back, which will be the north side, and just replicate this back down with a post. We're not sure whether or not that we can or should put in a panel on the back side, for the simple reason is getting the oxygen level good in there so that it'll run. Yeah. And so, but I've talked to the guys. They think that they would like to test it before we put a back panel on it.
So what you're screening it, if you don't put the back panel on it, you're still screening it from public view.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I just have one question. This is being a little picky, but we sort of had to start doing this.
Sure.
In your application, it says a cream colored paint and a brown colored paint. Would you have any way to just give us the names of the paint?
It actually doesn't. It's a special mix.
Okay.
And so I sent Gabe the special mix. It tells you exactly how many squirts.
Okay.
Of
I mean,
each
I'm
one
just
that we
saying,
have.
so we can put it in our notes that it
Yeah.
is.
It'll be. He has to give you.
He has it.
He
Okay.
does, yeah.
I'll just pull it up here.
Yeah.
He's
I
gonna-
mean,
there
I
it
know
is.
you'll do it the right way. It'll match
Yeah, there you
perfectly.
go.
No. Ask me, because if you don't ask me, you can't ask anybody else.
Okay.
So right there are the two colors, and that's you can see what the mix
Okay.
of it is.
Good.
Well, now if you lose it, then you know we have
No,
the
no
record.
losing. Yeah, I know if I lose it, I've
Right.
got
If
a
you
year.
lose it, we have the record here.
That's one of the
in
great
our
things
notes.
about it, because 10 or 15 or 20 years afterwards, and you go to do something, then you can call town hall and say, hey, Gabe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
by the way, what was that paint? What was the name of the paint?
It'll be 3 squirts and you'll think it's 2.
Well, I'm not squirting, so I'm not worried about it. So, but it was really
Yeah.
interesting. We had when we
Okay.
got this paint, we had to go to Richmond and come all the way across the state because there was a paint shortage.
Oh.
And in order to be able to get that, and that was about 3 years ago. And then-
Well, that's good. Yeah, just as long as we have that in our notes somewhere, that we know the color you use, because I'm sure it'll match perfectly the way it looks like it's gonna be fine.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And I will say, Mr. Humphries was so gracious because we didn't have it in our records when he did his restoration, so I just asked, could you please try and find it? And he so graciously sent it to me, so I appreciate you helping us out.
It did, and it might be somewhere else other than the restoration, because we did a repaint about 3 years ago or something like that. At that time, I put in for tax credits, which you all approved. And so there's a kind of an ongoing, we never did before Mayanna left, never decided whether or not that was supposed to be extended. I was actually in on the talks when that ordinance was written, and what could not run concurrent. Concurrent at the same time? It couldn't run at the same time, but it could run once the original one ran out,
Continuously.
then it could be added on. And so that's what, and this is the year, so
That's good.
I haven't heard anything,
Yeah.
so.
From one tax year to the next. Yeah.
This, yeah, well,
Yes.
yeah, and so, well, we've had 10 years of tax abatement.
Right.
And so that 10 years is up this year, and so this would add on to the,
And that's what our ordinance allows, is 10 years of tax.
right, well,
Okay.
but if you have, so you do one, and then there's the other has to kick in sometime.
Right.
Because they can't run at the same time. And so I would have probably about 7 years left on this one.
I'd have to look.
Yeah,
Very
it
good.
would be nice to know if that,
It's one of the nice things that Abington does, is the tax abatement for the historic district.
it is, so,
All
I
right.
have a question.
yes, sir.
Maybe it's just the way I'm looking at the photo, but is the generator completely behind the line of the fence? Or
It is.
It almost looks like you'd have to step it out.
It does, doesn't it? It
And I
does.
realize now it's just the way.
The optical illusion.
If you look at that
Yeah,
picture.
it's
I know.
actually setting back, I think it's about 10 or 11 inches,
Hmm.
but it's just hard to tell. It looks like it's even with it.
Yeah.
Do you want us to consider this or make a motion on this based on the fact that you're going to wait and let it run a little bit before you decide to finish it off, or give you the
I want it to
option?
go, well, because we have the time that it's going to be done in the summer,
Okay.
and if it's already approved,
You have a
I can
year.
do it. If it's not, I really don't have to
Or
do
we
it.
can approve it up to your, I mean, we could leave that to his discretion, right, on what the generator company says?
So in your motion, I would just say, approved as presented with the condition that the applicant may
Decide.
add a back panel if
If necessary.
can be,
necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll let me.
Yeah. So I would just allow that, so in case if the back panel can be put on for the oxygen to the generator, they have that
Sounds good.
ability to not have to put that on. So I would just include that as as a condition.
Okay.
Do we have any public comment? Any more questions from anybody up here?
I have a dumb question.
All right, good.
Are you and Susan living in this house?
Yes.
I thought you had it as a rental.
We
property.
did. We put in for federal and state tax credits. At that time, we had it as Black Dog Inn.
Right.
And then when COVID happened, Susan retired, and we decided we would live there. And so we were living there and, since 2000, whatever, a while.
Great.
This, of course, is one of the historic district's pride and joys, is this particular restoration,
Oh,
for which you deserve a lot of thanks.
thank you. Well, they gave me that label when we did it, and it goes right here, it's idiot. So it's, but it is a lot of work, and it is, we really did it. There were a couple other houses we'd like to have done, but as Susan kept pointing out to me, none of the others are gonna fall down, and this one very well could have fallen down.
Yes, this one was almost beyond it.
Just trying,
Yes.
just trying.
Well, it's beautiful now.
But thank you,
Beautiful now.
thank you.
All right,
I'll
we
make-
ready for a motion?
Yeah, I was gonna make the motion that we approve the COA as presented with the condition that if Mr. Humphries decides later on to add the back panel, he doesn't have to come back and ask permission for that.
Thank you.
The motion has been presented by Mrs. Hartshorn. Do
I'll
I have a
second.
second? Okay, Ms. Bunn seconds the motion. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Boyd,
Aye.
Mrs. Pillion,
Aye.
Mrs. Hartshorn,
Aye.
Mrs. White,
All right.
and Mrs. Bone.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. Thank you.
And I would like to, Gabe just did a really, really professional job. It's the first time I've had a project going on that Gabe's come out and had to look at it. And I just wanted to compliment him. He's really,
Yeah, but we've
I don't-
already complimented him enough today, so
Okay.
don't overdo it.
yeah, well, Gabe, don't let that go to your head.
Night, night.
Thank you.
Okay, all righty. All right, this is the public comment time. If we have any other comments to make at all, anybody? All right, let's move on to old business.
Sure. So first thing I have here is, as you know, since I think for the last 3 years, we've started doing a annual letter to our residents in the Old Historic District. This will be mailed out via regular mail, so not certified, just regular mail. And I made a few changes, few edited things, so, and I've asked you just to look at it. The one thing I did add, which we have found that's really helpful for people now that they've done it, is just in number 4, in terms of the process, we've said, once approved by the HPRB, we strongly encourage you to schedule on-site project updates with the Town of Abington's Community Development Team. So that's just, again, to make sure that there's no delays. Again, we've seen some projects where they've done, the property owner's done everything correctly, and for some reason, it didn't get done how it should have. For whatever way it might have been, So, and we found that since we've kind of encouraged people to say, hey, we're here to help, if you contact the staff, they will come out before the project, during the project, to make sure that everything's following as it should be, as the property owner intended. We will be there to help make sure that that follows through. So we just added that in as part of the letter, so this way they know that we are here to help them. If they call, we will make time to come out to the site and make sure that the project's following how it should.
Sounds good.
But one of the comments that I received last year, and I am glad it's going out regular mail instead of certified, because I did get some phone calls about that. It's not signed, and I just wondered, nobody, I feel like when you get a letter in the mail, somebody should say, whoever needs to sign this letter.
Okay, I can look into it.
Okay.
And it could just be from, Community Development Department.
Yeah, it could be from anybody. If it just looks more, more personal if it's signed, I
Okay.
think.
That's not a problem. Yeah, I can look into that. But other than that, it was kind of just very grammar-wise. And I did say, I added on a case-by-case basis because,
like that, yeah.
that's something that really for all these houses it is a case-by-case basis. And again, just emphasizing on that 4th point, we are here to help. If you want us to be there during the project, we're more than happy to do so because we have to go out and make sure that project's been completed. But we find that people are really receptive to wanting us to be there to make sure that work's been followed through on how it should have been, so to make sure the contractors follow through on what they need to do. So this way, somebody's not stuck with the project after the contractors left, and then they're like, "What do I do?"
Right.
So,
Very
but
good.
if there's no comments with that, I will make that adjustment, and then we will send this out this
Good.
month.
Thank you. It's a very good thing we're doing now.
Yep.
So secondly,
Yep, and then just some bit of good news. So, the American Planning Association has a monthly webinar that they put on, and it talks about various planning objectives, initiatives that go on throughout the state and just in general. And so we petitioned them to be an in-person presenter at their annual conference. We did not get chosen for that, but we got chosen to do the webinar one. It's called Your Hour with APA. And the topic was how to expand a historic district with zero opposition, which we did in 2023 with expansion. Thanks to you all, putting the time and effort in to help us get that expanded. And I've never seen as many attendees really on that platform before. I think we had 180 people attend, and that's planners from other localities in Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina. We even sent it out to our DHR contact, that's our CLG kind of coordinator, and some of those people from those localities joined on. And so it went amazingly, and I thank Betsy and Byron for, logging and helping me present that. And we had maybe about 20 minutes worth of questions, and we weren't able to answer all of them because we had that many questions about people just so interested and engaged and wanting to know more about how we went about it. So overall, it was a great success, and I even had people calling us about how do we do this, how do we do that, and even people from around the DC area are calling and asking, how did you guys go about this? Can you please tell me more? So it was a great event. We did a great job, and we're just furthering Abington as the jewel of this area and bringing us more to a national stage. So
yes.
I appreciate all your guys' work. So thanks.
Byram and I enjoyed it very much, participating in it. It was very well organized by Gabe, and as he said, it was a very enthusiastic audience, 180 people. Of course, Abington does a good job. It is the jewel of the Blue Ridge, and it's practically perfect, isn't it?
And I will say, if you're interested in looking and watching the presentation, if you just search Your Hour with APA webinar or Your Hour with APA, it should come up, and it's recorded and everything, so it's on their webpage. So if you want to go listen to it and see how it came out, then you're more than welcome to.
Could you send the link out?
Sure, I can send the link out. Not a problem. But yeah, so it was a major success, and we're moving forward and upward. So.
All right. All right, that's a good way to conclude the meeting, I think.
Yeah, that's all I have, so.
Before you conclude, can I make one more statement? Do you mind?
You can.
Okay.
Mr. Humphries would like
Well,
to
he
make
is-
another statement.
yes. He is too humble to tell you this himself, but as some of you might know, Byron Giesler is the new member of Preservation Virginia. He's a new board member, and the only one from southwestern Virginia. So,
Yay for Byron.
Yeah.
Yay. Congratulations, Byron. Very
It
good.
didn't take any arm twisting. I can
Very
tell you
good.
that.
Well, it's the truth. I think Abingdon is becoming more and more well-known in a positive way for its historic preservation of its district, for sure. All right, that's a good way to end, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I just have
All
a
right.
motion to adjourn.
All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Peyton Boyd
Second it.
moves to adjourn, and Christie Hartshorn seconds the motion.
Okay. Mr. Boyd,
Aye.
Mrs. Pillion,
Aye.
Mrs. Hartshorn,
Aye.
Mrs. White,
Aye,
Mrs. Bunn.
Aye.
we are adjourned. Thank you.